Hey, what's up, mortals? It's Keishan VA here with a new video for you. Welcome to part 6 of What If Deku Was Taskmaster. I just wanted to greet you guys by saying sit back and relax. You're in for a treat. So we begin. Once teleported to the Windstorm Zone, Izuku was ambushed by some rather unimpressive villains, which he efficiently dealt with. Trying to understand the villains' motives, he interrogated one of his attackers who confirmed what he feared, that they had a weapon to take down All Might. Knowing this, he quickly tried to make his way towards Aizawa, worried that his homeroom teacher might be in trouble. In another section of the Windstorm Zone, Tokiyami and Koda had run into each other. They were fighting off villains together, or more accurately, Tokiyami fought off the villains while Koda hid for his life. As Tokiyami was dealing with two attackers in front of him, a cowardly man began to sneak up on the two teens. He turned his arms into massive mallets and lifted them, preparing to crush Koda, but was caught off guard by an arrow hitting the side of his face and letting off an explosion. He coughed and staggered back, confused about what just happened, as two more sent him crashing into a wall and rendered him unconscious. "Make sure you watch your back. These guys are crawling all over the place," Izuku said, walking up to the two. "Thanks for the save." Izuku turned and tried to greet Koda, but he was met with silence. "He's not much of a talker." "Oh, fair enough. Anyways, I'm going to need you guys' help. I think Mr. Aizawa is in trouble." Koda violently shook his head in fear after hearing this. "All right then. You in, Tokiyami?" "Yeah. How are we going to help him?" Izuku briefed Tokiyami on what he learned, and the two began to run through the Windstorm Zone while helping Koda find cover. They ran into a few more villains, but they posed little threat to the two. Once they were out, they were met with a harrowing sight. The teacher was pinned to the floor with his arms broken and face being smashed into the ground. Izuku couldn't stand the sight and tried to rush in, but Tokiyami held him back. "I thought you said they have something to take down All Might. If you're correct, then we can't be reckless." "We can't just sit back. He needs help." A loud crash cut off Izuku's words as the doors to the USJ were blown apart, followed by intense gusts of wind as the villains surrounding Eraserhead appeared to be flung in different directions by some invisible force. Everyone in the vicinity immediately had their attention locked onto the number one hero standing at the top of the stairs while holding Aizawa's limp body. "Took you long enough," Aizawa said weakly. "Forgive me, Eraser. This wouldn't have happened if..." "Can it? Apologize later. Just make sure our students are okay." All Might nodded as he gently placed the man down. He then vanished from everyone's line of sight, reappeared in front of Shigaraki and connected with a punch. "Texas Smash!" But something felt off with the attack. Whatever All Might had hit, it wouldn't budge. "What the..." Shigaraki laughed maniacally.
"It's actually true. You have gotten weaker. This is my Nomu. It's scientifically designed to absorb your punches, so your attacks are worthless."
The Nomu launched a punch at All Might, which he dodged and countered with a more powerful smash. "So it really can tank my hits," he thought to himself as the monster lunged at him again. "No problem then." All Might grabbed the beast's hand, pulled it in, grabbed it from behind, and landed a German suplex that sent a massive shockwave throughout the area. Even at a safe distance away, Izuku and Tokiyami could hardly keep their footing due to the immense pressure released by the pro's actions. Once the dust settled, there was yet another terrible sight. There were two portals in the ground, and the Nomu had its arms buried in All Might's side as blood trickled out. Seeing this, all rational thought left his mind as Izuku leapt into action. "The hell are you doing?" As he ran into the fight, Shigaraki tried to intercept him, only to be wrapped in his capture tape as he once again mimicked his teacher's movements. "I saw you use this move earlier, so it won't work on me. Your quirk's in your hands, am I right?" he said as he secured his hands and landed a kick to the face. He then tried to secure Karagiri's main body before he heard a familiar loud voice. "Die!" Bakugo leapt in to put down Karagiri with an explosion as Todoroki froze the Nomu, allowing All Might to escape. All Might thanked the kids before engaging the Nomu once more, this time using his full power and hitting the monster with enough force to overcome its shock absorption and send it flying out of the USJ. Upon seeing this, Shigaraki appeared to start twitching on the floor while shouting.
No, no, no! You're not weaker at all. I was lied to. No.
Taking advantage of Shigaraki's unintentional distraction, Karagiri teleported himself and Tomura away, just when backup had arrived. All Might would have stopped them if he could, but at that moment, all he could do was stand there with all his strength depleted. Thankfully, the other teachers helped cover for him, allowing him to transform and recuperate from his battle. Tokiyama yelled at Izuku for running in without a plan, but was ultimately glad that his friend was all right. Izuku walked up to Bakugo and Todoroki, wanting to thank them for their help earlier, but both simply ignored him. After the villains were rounded up and taken away by the police, the students went to change back to their uniforms. They were allowed to leave school early, with the next week being canceled to allow the police to search the school, keep the students safe, and give them a chance to rest from the day's events. This video is sponsored by Grubhub. Grubhub offers on-demand convenience delivery across the country. You can search for restaurants by cuisine or location, quickly order food from the menu, and track your order from the app. With Grubhub Plus, you can get free delivery for 10 meals every month on orders of $12 or more. That's not all. You can use the code AFF25 to save 25% off.
Get the food you love with perks from Grub what you love.
Izuku used his time off to train and design modifications for his hero costume. Seeing All Might's full power with his own two eyes made it all the more clear how huge the gap between him and other pros truly was. The fact that he could not fight alongside All Might when faced with villains compelled Izuku to get even stronger and led him to add new moves to his repertoire, particularly those of Mirko. The rabbit-themed pro hero had been making waves in the hero world as of late, and built quite the following. Izuku had been watching several videos on the pro and developed massive respect for her ability to take on multiple foes head-on. He believed her skills would be an enormous boost to his arsenal. The only problem was her rabbit quirk. Replicating her moves was effortless, but he still couldn't generate as much power as her, or match her speed, which is why he spent so much time working out. He was getting closer, but not close enough, and this is where his suit modifications came in. Ida's quirk inspired him to augment his physical strength and speed by installing jets on his suit, thus giving him more power while conserving his stamina. This would also allow him to perfect the moveset of the hero Ingenium, whose skills Izuku had also memorized. And while he was at it, maybe a few extra tweaks were in order. His mind began to go wild with ideas while he frantically scribbled designs in his book like a madman. For the next 4 hours, Izuku was entranced by his ideas while he heard a ring at the door. "Haizu! Ah!" Mei screamed as the boy yanked her into his home. They made their way to his room, where his desk was a mess with papers all over as Izuku began to frantically mumble off the designs he had spent hours working on. And she was immediately put in a trance as thoughts about all the tinkering she'd get to do ran through her mind. Mei gladly helped him for the next few days, and Izuku paid her back by going to her house and helping her with her own projects for school. When the students returned to school, it was announced that the sports festival would take place soon, in spite of the recent attack. Naturally, some of the students objected, but their homeroom teacher assured them that there would be extra protection and argued that the sports festival was too significant to cancel. He then emphasized how important it was for them to take advantage of the event. "The sports festival only comes around 3 times during your time at UA and can make or break your potential hero career. So, train hard in the coming days so you don't fail to capitalize on this opportunity." When he was done, Cementos walked in and began teaching literature. The first half of the school day went by, and then they had lunch. The Class A students tried to leave their classroom but were surrounded by a crowd of students from other classes. Many of them were nervous and confused, but Bakugo barged through with his usual confidence. "Move out of the way, extras! I don't have time for you!" "So this is the infamous Class 1A," said a voice in the crowd. "Gotta say, I'm a little disappointed. I wanted to see the future pillars of Japan, but all I see is an arrogant bastard. Are all Hero Corps students as delusional as you?" "No, just him really," Izuku remarked. "Stay out of this, Deku!" "Gladly," he stated, trying to leave as he wasn't interested in arguing with a large crowd. What, don't want to chat with your competition? Are you scared I'll take your spot? Me? Scared of you? Izuku abruptly responded. So you're looking down on me then? It's not that. It's just... And don't take this the wrong way, but you don't have a chance of beating me. I hate to admit it, but even that blonde grenade over there wouldn't lose to you. The hell you just call me? Tetsu's voice was heard in the background as he shouted. You jerks! So you fight villains once and think you're better than all the rest of us? Stop making the hero course look bad! This spurred on the crowd to further antagonize Izuku, Bakugo, and the rest of 1A. They began to relish the chance to make them eat their words. So you're all the same. Fine then. Consider this an official declaration of war. Accept it, Extra! I'll accept too. See you at the sports festival, Izuku said with a smirk as he got excited to test out his potential suit upgrades on malicious opponents. After this, he went to lunch to continue to discuss his suit designs with Mei, or at least he tried to. She intercepted him in the halls and dragged him into the design studio, where she wanted to show him the prototypes for his propulsion boots alongside her jetpack. Am I allowed to be in here?
Sure, since you're just helping me test things and not messing with people's stuff. Powerloader said it was fine as long as I take responsibility for you.
Okay then. And these won't blow up, right?
No, of course not. What do you take me for?
Oh, good. Finally, a safe test.
Nope. Fire!
The boots didn't allow Izuku to balance himself properly and let out too much force. This led him to crash into a wall, the ceiling, another wall, the ceiling again, and then the ground. Mei picked up Izuku's notes, examined them, and realized their flaw.
Hey, Izuku! Are you still there?
Mm-hmm. He muffled in pain.
Good.
She said, rolling him over as she lay on the ground beside him and began to go into detail about where the designs could be improved. Once she finished, she stood, picked up her jetpack, and told him to stand.
Now that we're done with your baby, let's test out mine. Oh, and I still haven't fixed the exploding part with this one yet, sorry.
Izuku's face filled with dread at the thought of the torment he was about to undergo in the days approaching the sports festival. Thank you all for indulging yourselves in all this information thus far. I hope you enjoyed it. Now there are a few more things that I'd like to go over before the video ends. Firstly, I'd like to thank our patrons, BD Flames, Ethan Davis, Terry Chills, Shifter Meals, Adam Zagil, Zill, Zabeat03, and Joshua Phelps. Secondly, I'd like to thank all of our YouTube members, Toya Costa, Rob the King, Sith Lord 906, CF2364 and Knuckles, Rimuru Tempest, Angel Juarez, Donald C. Stewart, Bryant Greer, and Demonized Fox. Thirdly, if you're in the mood for some great storytelling, We the Celestials have got you covered. Our We the Celestials My Hero Academia and Naruto What If channels retell the story of their namesake anime with a twist. Check it out if you're interested. Fourthly, on behalf of We the Celestials, I'd like to thank everyone involved in today's excellent content production. Their details can be found in the description below. Lastly, if you're interested in what we do here at We the Celestials, I'd like to extend an invitation for you to join the team. The only caveat is that we only accept members from 16 years old to join our crew. You can sign up for whichever category fulfills your interest by joining the recruitment Discord using the link in the description below. We're always looking for members to join us. Well, that's it for today's video. I'm Keishan VA. Thank you all for watching. Have a great day.